The world's first photograph was taken by Joseph Nicephore Niepce in the year 1826, using a process called heliography. It took several days to create. By 1839, the technology had advanced to the point that the exposure process only took 7 minutes, and so the first ever selfie was taken by Robert Cornelius. Later, George Eastman, the founder of Kodak, invented roll film in 1885 and started selling the first handheld cameras in 1888. He takes mainstream photography a step further with the affordable Brownie in 1900, which is the first camera to offer a snapshot feature. Still, photography was available only for a few. At first, photography was used to create a faithful representation of the world. For some it was an artwork, and to others trickery to save a moment of time for the future. At the time, nobody questioned who owns the picture or the rights of the people that are in the picture. As photography became cheaper over the years, it became more accessible for the masses. Rolls of films were much cheaper to produce, and they contained a negative image that could be used in print and reproduced indefinitely. But photography was still all analog at this time. The digital camera was invented in 1975 by Steve Sasson. The digital revolution began in the 90s with DSLRs and pocket cameras, which meant that the digital pictures could be reproduced and shared easily. In the 2000s, the first mobile phone with a camera was introduced, which started a trend that brought the ability to take photos to almost everyone. What used to be a privilege of few became a commodity. Nowadays, the internet allows people around the world to share pictures. More than 100 million photos are shared per day just on Instagram. With powerful computers easily available to the public and the open source software community, a new playground for photography was born. The ability to generate ultra-realistic, surrealistic, or even abstract visual content. Many pictures editing tools are free to use or even modify, allowing anyone to perform a new kind of creativity. There are countless guides that teach you how to take good photos and how to use your camera. Some guides teach you how to become an activist using your camera, while others teach you how to document things with your camera. In a way, photography became open source. The equipment and tools are available and affordable for a wide audience, and the end result can be shared within minutes. Usually, copyright laws protect the work and the subjects, but just like in the software industry, some of these rights hurdle the evolution of new art. It reserves the rights to the artist to decide who can reuse, edit, or transform their work. Copyright is a relatively new concept. It started in England as a reaction to printing press. Before copyright laws, artists shamelessly borrowed each other's ideas. Ideas were used and discarded like trash. Just like today's memes. Memes can be seen as freeform, open source photography. Right. You pick a picture that is topical and alter it by adding text. Yeah. Nowadays, copyright laws are mostly general knowledge, at least in the Western world. We cannot use a photo taken by another person without their permission. The rights to a photo are transferred to the photographer at the snap of the shutter. Combining ideas has always been a part of the creative process. Some people just want to share their work with the world. Creative Commons was created as a critique of proprietary works, the answer of the creative industry to the open source movement in software. It helps people share their work using different licenses. A photo shared with the public domain license lets people use it and modify it as they please, while the attribution license adds a requirement for the user to disclose the original author of the photo. All in all, hints of open source photography can be seen all around us. Photo manipulation, image macros, and Creative Commons can all be considered to be open source photography. At its heart, open source photography is about sharing and combining ideas.
Our creativity comes from without, not from within. We are not self-made. We are dependent on one another. And admitting this to ourselves isn't an embrace of mediocrity and derivativeness. It's a liberation from our misconceptions. And it's an incentive to not expect so much from ourselves and to simply begin.